Hello everybody, what's up? This video now, is the time that I manifested a quad bike. I did just make the manifesting a video game video. This is a bit of a step up, but it's also a step down because the game is actually something that was mine. The quad bike wasn't mine, and unfortunately I didn't actually get to use it in the end. When I was a child, I was super into, oh, by the way, go ahead and subscribe. That's something I'm doing now, is telling you to subscribe. I loved quad bikes. One of my favorite things as a child was quad bikes. I didn't get to ride them often. I wasn't exposed to that sort of lifestyle, but when I did get to ride them, it was like that's where I needed to be. Quad bikes were like my heaven, my ultimate. I always dreamt of having money and getting a quad bike. And then one day my stepdad got entered into a competition because he had recently bought a Jeep, and Jeep was doing this quad bike giveaway competition, and I think it went on for a month or two, a couple months, and in that time I paid no attention to it. I was like, firstly, when they mentioned the quad bike, I was like, yes, we're gonna get a quad bike. And then it fell away and I let it go and it didn't come up for months. And then a couple weeks before the competition actually started, I started realizing what was going on. And I had zero doubt. I had zero doubt that we were getting that quad bike. I was like, that quad bike, we're gonna get that quad bike. Everyone tried to tell me, you know, maybe it's not gonna be the case, but the one I remember the most was my dad. My dad sitting me down and saying something like, don't be disappointed if we don't get it. If I remember the details correctly, I was very young, but if I remember the details correctly, I think I looked at him and I said, but we are getting the quad bike. And that's how sure I was. 0% uncertainty. I was completely sure that we were gonna get that quad bike. And what happened? We rock up on the day. We're all standing in this party. I don't remember the details because I was young, so I don't remember all of it. But it was a competition for a few things. There were a few prizes. So everyone that had bought a Jeep in a certain time span gathered in this Jeep location. We were kind of shuffled around place to place to see all the prizes, and then at the end, finally, there was the quad bike on the trailer. I stared at this and I was just like, yay. There wasn't even anticipation. There was anticipation of, I can't wait to ride it, but it wasn't anticipation of, I hope we get it. It's so strange how this all works. And then finally, they call out the names and I'm just sitting there like, yeah, awesome. And everyone around me is like, you know, doing the nail biting and not sure. And I'm just sitting there like, I wonder where I'm going to ride it. Where am I going to take it? So when they called out the names and it was our name that got called, my stepdad's name got called, I wasn't shocked, obviously. I was super happy and I was like, yeah, because I knew that we had a quad bike now. But it wasn't a thing of shock. It was just a thing of like, wow. I think shock came a little bit later because I realized that it was a competition. But this is much later, like years later. For a long time, I didn't pay attention to it. The worst part about that is that the quad bike ended up sitting in the freaking garage on the trailer, not doing anything with it. And that really bums me out because I could have actually done something with it. I could even have entered races or something like that. I would have loved to do that. Because I was young, my dad and stepdad were not very open to the idea of me doing older activities, you know, like playing heavier video games or watching heavier movies or riding quad bikes and stuff like that. And it annoyed me a lot because I knew I was a lot more mature than what they thought I was when it came to these things. And also because even though I was a child, I knew that I knew better for myself. The fact that they wouldn't listen to that because they were the parents and they thought they knew better for me than what I knew for myself just made me a little bit unhappy in that household environment. But that's not the point of this story. That's just a side effect of what this story is bringing up, is the past. As stories will do, right? They'll bring up the past. But anyways, that's the time I manifested quad bike. If you liked the video, very short, but if you did like it, please go ahead and leave a like. Also leave a comment if you've ever entered into a competition like that. If you've ever manifested your own quad bike, or even if you do quad bike racing, actually really leave a comment because I want to know if there's a community that does that sort of stuff, which I can start moving my way into and start learning the ropes of racing and motorbikes and quad bikes and stuff like that. I would really love to do that. If you are part of that, please leave a comment. If you're not part of that, also please leave a comment. Let me know about your life, dude. Get a little bit spicy. Let me know when the last random makeout you had. You know, share a story. That's another story I'm going to be sharing, is the first time I ever had a random makeout. But everyone's life is interesting in one way or another, so it'd be cool to hear about you. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.